Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jennie McCafferty, and I'm at Manistee National Golf and Resort with W. Bruce Matthews III, and today we're going to call him Bruce. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Good morning.
It's not raining. We're happy about that. Absolutely. Nice breeze blowing here.
Absolutely, beautiful morning.
It is. And one of the courses that you talked about has an interesting twist. It's Bird Creek Golf Club in Port Austin. And you mentioned volunteers were involved there. That's got to be different.
It was very different. Bird Creek it's a small community at the tip of the thumb. Is Port Austin, and they have a lot of people that love the game of golf. They had trouble getting on a golf course, so they decided to put their own golf course together. They formed a committee. They had 250 equal shares to sell, which they did sell, which raised the initial funds for the golf course. And then they had volunteers with different expertise put in different parts of the golf course. We hired a golf course shaper, Glenn Caverly. He was out of South Lyon at the time. He would do the shaping, and he would tell the volunteers, exactly what to do. Glenn moved the dirt. The volunteers, we had put in irrigation. We had the wire put in for the irrigation was done by the people that worked for the phone company. The seed was purchased by Ray Hines, who owned the hardware store at the time. Seeding was done. They got a lot of farmers up there in the thumb, so they had a lot of big tractors seeding it at the time. We would make our visits, and they would just say, "What can we do next? What could we do next?" Which it was a lot of fun with the volunteers, because when they'd get done at the end of the day, they worked very hard. They all had patches of AstroTurf, 4x4 pieces of AstroTurf. They played the holes in the dirt. So they would run around. They couldn't wait. There would be a cart with a keg of beer behind them, and they would play the golf holes, and they just had a blast that night. They had just as much fun before the golf course was open than when it opened.
Well, that's a really fascinating story. I'm almost imagining a movie. It would have a lot of interesting characters.
It would be as good as the baseball movie, because if you build it, they will come. And that was, they did it all on faith, and it works. It really worked. In fact, their business plan was utilized by several other golf courses, small towns that wanted their own golf course, such as Ubley, town of Ubley and Ubley Heights, which I did. In town of Farwell, Eagle Glen Golf Course utilized it. Town of Manton, Emerald Vale's golf course, their group of people also utilized the Bird Creek plan on going through. So a lot of small towns got into golf where they had no golfers or a few golfers, and it's a lot of fun watching the golfers come in from the first day in T-shirts and tennis shoes, and the next 3 months they had golf shirts on and golf shoes and a new set of clubs. So it was a lot of fun watching that happen.
With Bird Creek being the first one, how did Bird Creek connect with you? Because all of a sudden you're the professional here.
Good question. I don't know the answer to that one. Okay. We were busy at the time. I was working with my Uncle Jerry. We were very busy. For the most part, we were the predominant architect in the state of Michigan, so I guess that's who you start with, and you go from there.
Well, it's a really fascinating model, and I'm wondering, was there a chief volunteer?
No, that's what was neat about the golf course and what made them successful. They had a board, their initial board. They had 8 or 9, I can't remember which one, 8 or 9 board members, all equal, with all the shareholders, all equal. And those board members, they'd wrestle over decisions in the meeting, and then wrestle, and it wasn't easy for them. But when they came out unified. They always came out unified, and they always were together all the way through. There were no petty jealousies. There was no particular person in charge, and it worked out. It worked out just absolutely great. It was a really unique experience for me.
Well, you know, I mentioned movie, but it also sounds like a political science case study.
It could be, because the whole community was involved.
Yeah, really remarkable.
The bankers, the lawyers, everybody had a different set of responsibilities, and they all contributed to the program.
Really remarkable. That's Bird Creek Golf Club in Port Austin. Can you describe the course a little bit?
It's #1 in the thumb. Ask any one of them.
Okay.
It's a great golf course. It's 6,800 yards. It's got 4 sets of tees. It's rolling, believe it or not. It's as flat as the thumb is, and it's got the Bird Creek, which runs from Lake Huron to the south. Runs right through the middle of the golf course. So it's got a lot of different features, and it's a really interesting play.
I'm glad you mentioned rolling because my vision was flat.
No, that's I was very lucky.
Very
Got
cool.
a neat piece of property. Which was neat was the farmer also helped out. He donated part of the land when it was done. He sold part of the land for less than value and donated the other part when it was done. So everybody pitched in and got themselves a really nice golf course.
And so with so many people invested, I imagine that really boosted how many people were ready to play.
It did. It was fun because you've got a lot of the investors were just investors to be an investor, but they eventually played too.
So the course created more players.
Yes, it did.
How cool.
It did. It was creating golf in small towns.
Yeah. So that's Bird Creek Golf Course in Port Austin, Michigan. Thank you, Bruce.
You bet.